In this video, I'm going to show you how to take better photos on your iPhone using portrait mode. Portrait mode unlocks some advanced options on your iPhone, including the ability to choose between the lens type and the aperture. Understanding these principles will take your photography to the next level. Now, before I run through the hands-on demonstration of portrait mode on the iPhone, let's go over the concept of depth of field, which is what portrait mode is founded upon. But not only that, it's a fundamental principle in traditional photography. Depth of field refers to the range of distances in a scene that appear sharp and in focus in a photograph or video. When you adjust the aperture on your camera, you control the size of the opening through which light passes to reach the image sensor. A large aperture, which is a smaller f number such as 1.4, means a wider opening and more light entering the camera, while a smaller aperture, a larger f number such as f16, results in a narrower opening in the lens. The aperture setting affects depth of field because it determines how much of the scene is in focus. A wide aperture, which is a smaller number, produces a shallow depth of field where only a small portion of the scene is in focus while the background and foreground appear blurred. This effect is often used in portrait photography where the subject is sharp while the background is intentionally blurred, drawing attention to the person. Conversely, a narrow aperture, which is a larger f number, produces a deep depth of field where a larger portion of the scene from the foreground to the background appears sharp and in focus. This is often desirable in landscape photography and product photography, or any situation where you want the entire scene to be in focus. To access portrait mode on your iPhone, tap on the camera app. Tap on portrait in the menu just above the shutter button. On the bottom left of the image area, tap on the 1x icon to change to 2x for a longer lens. This activates the portrait lens, which has the longer focal length and generally produces better portrait images. If you're in a tight space, however, you can toggle back to the 1x option, which will activate the wider lens. If you want to experiment with lighting, tap on the light icons and go through all the options from natural light to studio light, contour light, stage light mono, and high key light mono. For this example, I'm going to use the natural light setting. Now for the most important part of the tutorial, the thing that will determine the depth of field in the scene, that is the f-stop. To access the f-stop, tap on the f icon on the top right-hand corner of the screen, and now a slider appears just above the shutter button. By default, it's set to f4.5, which is just about in the mid-range in terms of aperture. You can use your finger to scroll left and right. If I slide my finger right, we get to the aperture of f1.4. And if you look at the preview screen, you should notice the shallow depth of field that I mentioned earlier. Tap on the subject that you want to be in focus, and it will be sharp, while the background and foreground will be out of focus. Slide your finger all the way up to the f16, and you should notice the background and foreground become sharp as we now have a deep depth of field, which means that all of the objects in the scene are in focus. Slide back the other way and try any of the values in between until you get the amount of focus and background blur that you're looking for. Tap on the shutter button and take the photo, and that's all. You've just taken your first portrait mode photo on the iPhone. But that's not all. Did you know that you can edit the portrait mode photo after the fact? All you need to do is to open the photo in the camera or Photos app and tap on Edit. On the top left-hand corner, you'll see the f-stop icon showing you the aperture that you used to take the photo. Tap on this and the aperture slider will appear above the shutter. Now you can use this to change the aperture and corresponding depth of field. I hope you found that information useful. If you did, feel free to hit me up with a like and consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you're notified of up and coming video releases. See you on the next one. Bye for now.